to wear weird clothing.
I like it.
Yeah.
You look all fresh and clean.
I just got out of the shower, so you get wet hair, Brooke.
That's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. How are you?
Good. Good. Yeah.
How's your week been?
It's been good.
Okay.
I just feel like everything is feeling better mostly. Sunday was a little rough.
Yep.
But every day has gotten better. And so when I realized this week too, I was like, oh wow, look at that. My daughter and I went to counseling.
Yeah.
And we have one more session next week on Wednesday. It was only supposed to be a 4-session thing. But I don't feel like it's helped a ton. It's helped a little. Like every time we go, she seems to open up to me more afterwards. But then I just feel like the work that I've been doing though over the last few weeks has made it better because so Tuesday night I'm at James's house.
Okay.
And we're snuggled up in bed and we're watching a movie and my daughter calls. And so first of all, I answered the phone instead of going, oh no, I'm not going to answer the phone because I'm with someone right now. So I answered the phone.
Yeah.
Secondly, when she started talking to me about what was going on, she started her period.
Okay.
For the first time ever.
Okay.
I got up and went in the other room to talk to her. And I wasn't stressed out about, oh gosh, is he okay in there alone? Does it matter that I left the movie? Blah, 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 all that crap. You know what I mean? Like that would normally go through my head. Like I was worried about getting back. Yeah. I just stayed with my daughter until she didn't need me anymore.
How'd that feel?
It felt really good.
Good.
Yeah.
As I can tell you, Jimmy is totally the kind of guy where you can take any phone call you need to take, especially if it's your daughter. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And that's what I was thinking. I'm like, no, this is fine. The only reason why I would have any tension about it is because of me.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the point of me seeing that was like, well, that really I didn't feel all that angst and anxiety about taking that call and taking the time I needed to take with my daughter. And then this week also, it started like this weekend when I was talking to my daughter, I said, and my son, I said, actually it started Friday. So Friday I told my ex, I said, look, I need a couple hours. I need to go do something. Do you want the kids? Because it was my night because they were with me last week.
Yeah.
Or do you want me just to leave them at home and I'll take, I'll just keep track of them. And he's like, no, you can bring them to my house. Well, then he made me feel all guilty about it. Like he was texting me nasty texts, blah, blah, blah. Oh, you just want to go see your boyfriend. And he had no idea what I was doing. He was just making assumptions. But then I talked to the kids about it the next day because they brought something up. Oh, my son said, oh, well, you want to see your boyfriend or something. Grant, I never said that to anyone. And then so I had a conversation about it. I said, look, the week that I have you, the week that you're not with me is too long. I want you guys when you're not with me.
Yeah.
Said, but then the week that I have you is too long because I'm an adult who needs my time and you'll understand that someday. I said, so when you're not with me, I'm going to be taking advantage of that one night a week where we get to have our dinner. Yeah. I said, and when you are with me, I'm taking a night in the middle of that for a couple hours for me to go do what I want to do.
And both of you guys are old enough to handle it.
Yes, and both of you are old enough to handle it. I said, and because your dad now has made a big deal out of this, I won't be asking him if you guys can go over there anymore. You guys are going to be at home. I looked at my daughter. I said, if you want to babysit, if you do it right, I'll pay you.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah. So, but I'm not creating this drama anymore. And you guys need to understand that it's okay for a parent, me and your dad, to need time for ourselves.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Freaking high five.
Yes. So I think they got it because then when I was like, okay, Wednesday, we're going to go out to dinner, They were excited about dinner. They were looking forward to dinner. When I picked them up, they're like, let's go get food and go back to your house and watch a movie for a while. Yeah. It was the first good dinner we've had. Yeah. So something obviously shifted because we actually enjoyed each other's company.
Well, and you're showing them that it's okay for them to take care of themselves too. Mm-hmm. It's actually a good thing for them to be able to be alone for a couple of hours. That's right. A life skill.
Yeah, that's the way it should be. Yeah. I wish I could move this screen because I feel like when I'm looking at you in the eyes, you probably think I'm looking down. Oh, I don't. It's fine. But I'm like looking at you, but I know I'm not looking at the camera.
It's totally fine. I end up looking at you instead of at the camera anyway, so whatever. It's probably all off a little bit.
Yeah, I think we're both doing it. Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. I noticed that this week, which I thought was really good. As on the good side. On the complicated side, it's just the whole thing with relationship with James. Just because we're both agreeing that we're going slow. But what the hell is slow? I don't know what the hell slow is, and I don't think he does either, because we both tried to define it and we can't really. So it just gives me this unsettled feeling of not knowing. And I remember, like, in my marriage with my ex-husband, even though it wasn't a good marriage, just knowing that he was there just made me feel like, okay, everything's fine. And I could go about my business and do whatever I wanted, and I never worried about anything. But it's not like that in a new relationship. So, but he never gives me any reason not to feel, he never gives me any reason to feel that way. Like, he texts me throughout the day. We communicate every day. So it's like, it's just my own little inner thing, and I know that. And so I've been trying to understand it more so I can just let it go. So I just need to let it go.
So it's interesting because as you were shuffling, I was shuffling cards while you were telling me about your kids. And the first thing that I pulled that like jumped out of the deck was Mother of Pentacles.
What does that mean?
Domestic, loving, and patient. The Mother of Pentacles excels in the home. She knows exactly what to do while raising a family and tending to the tasks of daily life. There's a potential for her identity to become wrapped entirely around her children and home, which leaves her needy and attached. This is the cause of most of her turmoil. She often has qualities of a healer and is very connected to nature.
I love that.
So good for you for making a stand to keep this from... This doesn't need to keep happening over and over. It's great to be all of these things, and it's great to also have all of you.
Right.
And you can do both.
Yeah, and I feel like my ex-husband keeps trying to take that away from me. So it's been really complicated.
Is that some of that?
What's that?
Is that kind of what it feels like?
Yes.
10 of Swords.
He like throws it all, turns everything around on me. Like I'm like this horrible person, and it's never him. It's always me.
Yeah, this is just a card. This is a card of like drama and backstabbing and like always creating something out of nothing.
Yeah.
It's literally like
that's what he does.
Bull has been like scored to death with a ton of swords.
Yeah. That's what he does. Like every time we do the transfer, he like starts texting me these horrible texts about what a horrible mom I am because of something that he says I let fall through the cracks, when I'm like, everything was fine. It's like your perception is off. Like, yeah.
So everywhere that we have not been willing to be received or perceived as bad moms, like the most awful moms ever on the whole planet. Let's destroy and uncreate that.
Okay.
Put it in a bubble. And pop it.
Okay.
You and I both know you're a freaking amazing mom.
That's the thing that it's like I get angry and I just keep trying to ignore him because it's not true.
He's trying to do this when this is what's actually true. You're a great mom. You're domestic and loving and very tuned in with your kids. And you wouldn't be going to counseling with your daughter or doing this, really, like if you weren't an amazing mom and wanting to be the best thing for them. So anything that's flying your way over here that's trying to stab you in the back, it's stabbing you in the back because it's behind you.
Oh, so behind me.
He's in the rear view mirror, and there's a reason why the rear view mirror is so small. We're not supposed to be paying so much attention to the shit that's already behind us. Let it pop up for the lesson, but that's like, dude, you don't even know me anymore.
No, that's true. He doesn't.
He
No,
doesn't
not
even
at
know.
all.
He didn't really know you while you were married, first off. Second, you haven't been married for a few years. Third, you've changed a lot over the last 4 weeks. He doesn't know you.
No.
So he can throw all the swords he wants. You just put up your turtle shell and be a Ninja Turtle about it.
Okay, awesome. I love that. What's that one?
This is the Empress.
Empress.
What number is it? 3.
That must be a good one. It's a beautiful glowing tree.
Right? The Empress, creation, nature, the mother. The Empress is the mother or the goddess of the tarot. Her energy encompasses all that is warm, fertile, creative, and sensual in the world. Her strength comes from being gentle and compassionate and loving without binding. When this card appears, it's pointing to either a maternal relationship in your life or the side of yourself that wants to love more. The Empress also suggests it's time for you to connect with nature. Go outside tonight and find the moon.
Oh, good luck. I will try.
So, yeah, this is a pretty beautiful card, though. This one is like blooming and beaming with life.
Mm-hmm.
This one is a solid, secure, nurturing, like deeply rooted. This is you. This is what you've stepped into.
Mm-hmm.
So when he's doing this thing, thinking he can get to you, you're not this weak little mom anymore. You are the Empress. You are the goddess of your home. Your kids know it.
Yeah.
And by the way, like we do the let's be willing to be shitty moms thing because there's so much judgment on moms that is just absolute horseshit. But you're an amazing mom. And even the most amazing moms, a week is way too long without your kids.
It is
way too long with your kids.
Too long. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's way too long.
It is. It's like I need a break in the middle. Like yesterday, we had our movie and dinner, and it was so nice. And then I picked up my son today after school because it was my day off from the wound clinic. I did home care today, so I could pick him up from school. And so I got to, hug him and hug my daughter again. But so he gets the kids almost every day.
Right.
He picks Grant up from school every day, even when it's my week. But on my week, I only get to see them when I go for the dinner or I go out or it's my day off and I go pick up Grant. So maybe once or twice a week. Yeah.
Okay.
But even that little bit helps. The other part is I struggle with whether or not I should be texting and calling them a lot when they're with their dad.
Yeah.
Because he does that all the time. And I feel he takes away my time. So what I had always done is tried to be respectful that that's his time and that when they're with me, that's my time. But he calls and texts them so much that like Grant and I one day were playing a card game and he started texting him in the middle of that. And he's like, Dad, I'm playing a game with Mom. And then another time I stepped into my daughter's room to have a conversation with her. And then he called her. And I mean, he doesn't know, but, but he's calling like, it's like inconvenient times. It's like, so I've been trying to be respectful of that is the point. And then my sister was saying, no, you need to be calling those kids. No, you need to be texting those kids. And I'm like, okay, I understand that I'm their mom and I need to keep a connection going, but like, where's the line? I don't know. Like,
I think if you feel inspired to reach out, reach out. They both have their own phone, right? So reach out. If one of them is like, I'm busy, okay, then stop messaging them. And you're also allowed to set boundaries on your end.
Yeah.
You could ask your kids, would you mind getting back to him in a little bit so we can enjoy our time?
Yeah.
And if they end up getting in trouble for that, then that's a conversation to have with him because that is your time.
Right.
And, you know, you don't want to be the parent either, and you don't need to be the, like, don't talk to your dad.
No, I don't want to say
You don't
that.
want to be that. Yeah.
I end up feeling like I'm in this position where if I say, hey, you know, you're with me right now, then
Right.
it ends up being not a situation.
The conversation that I've had before has been, hey, Gavin, I really love you, and I really love hanging out with you. And he doesn't have his own phone yet. But when you're always talking about your dad or asking when you go to your dad's next or whatever, it makes me feel really sad. It makes me feel like you don't enjoy your time with me.
Right.
Is that true? And then usually the answer is like, no, Mom, I'm so sorry. He just promised we were going to go do something fun. And I'm like, okay, I can have some room for that.
Yeah.
But I think it's okay for them to see us be emotional. I think it's okay for them to see that we have feelings.
Yeah. So yeah, I struggle with that too. Like, cause I do say stuff like that to my kids. I'm like, you know, when you act like that, or you say that or whatever, that hurts my feelings.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, and then they go, oh, now you're laying a guilt trip on me or something. And I know that kind of response comes from their dad, like, because they see how he responds to me.
Yeah. So this is where you can start to practice some coaching in the other direction, because clearly they have his side of things, right? He seems like he's rather vocal about you.
Yeah. And he denies it, but I know they pick up on it.
Yeah. So that's where you could say, you could actually, they're both old enough, you could be pretty direct about what your experience has been and what you actually mean. And really even about like, your dad isn't nice to me. Your dad doesn't know me.
Yeah. I told them that. I just had this conversation again this week and telling them also what happens at dad's house stays at dad's house, and what happens at mom's house stays at mom's house. There should be no going to dad about stuff. My daughter yesterday, when I picked her up, she was like, I'm mad at dad. He doesn't understand. He says he does, but he can't possibly understand because he's not a woman. And I hate it when he says he understands. And then he got mad at me because I said I didn't like it when he says that he understands because he can't possibly understand. I think I want to stay with you tonight, Mom. And so I talked her out of that.
Yeah.
Because I don't want him to be like, oh yeah, come stay with me when you're mad at your mom. So I'm not going to like buy into that story with her, because that's her drama that she's trying to create. You know, it's like, oh, okay, I'm going to go stay with mom. Dad's being horrible. It's like, so by the end of the thing, she realized that it was okay. And that I was like, you know, he's a man. You're right. He's never going to understand the way that we understand.
No,
I said, however, you know, you have to be willing to accept that he, you know, just where he's at.
Yeah.
And that, you know, he's not going to understand. And then maybe when things calm down, you can talk to him and say,
because you know, the reality is, even though you guys got divorced, even though you don't get along, he seems like a fairly like involved dad.
He is.
So
he is. And that part's good.
Yeah. I mean, it's like Charlie and I do not live on the same planet. You don't understand him. He doesn't know me anymore. We do our best to co-parent. And I can't really say much because he actually does want to be involved in his kid's life.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know. Just, this is an abyss. This is a crazy thing to try to navigate divorce and kids and.
I know. And I remember, like, before I had ever come to the decision to do it, my sister was like, do you want your kids to just be with Sean all by himself? Do you want your kids to be with his family without you there? And so that was part of my staying longer, because I wasn't ready to like let anyone else take care of my small children.
Yeah.
So it just took longer. Yeah.
That was a really hard thing for me too when I was looking at that because Gavin was only 4. He was really little. So
Uh-huh.
like we never should have gotten married. It was a long time coming.
Mm-hmm. So was ours. I feel the same
Yeah.
way. Like the entire marriage was like, what the hell was I thinking?
Was
Like I
I
shouldn't.
drunk? Yes, I was quite drunk actually. That's what happened.
You crack me up. Oh, that was good. Okay.
Seriously, my mom was like, "Why do you marry your roommate?" And I was looking at it and I was drunk, Mom. I was drunk.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't have that excuse. I wish I did. Because he and I got in a fight in front of my sister after we got married.
Yeah.
And he must have called me every name in the book. And she begged me, Marnie, please don't go on this honeymoon with him. Please don't go. Because he was so mean to me in front
Yeah.
of her.
Yeah.
And the shoulds and the supposed tos and all that stuff was in my head. This is what I decided to do. And now I have to do it. Like
I
I
made
couldn't.
my bed. Now I have to lay in it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And I fucking laid in it for way too many years.
Yeah. Not getting any either.
Freaking sucks. But you know what you were saying before about him not knowing me? You know, he never knew me because all that stuff, like all that connection and the sexual part of it, I never let him know who I really was because I didn't feel like I was safe with him. I felt like he would turn it around and make me feel like a horrible person for any of the desires that I had. So there was no way that he never knew me. Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting? I wonder, let's just get a sense of the energy. How many places have you turned down or turned off? Your sensuality, your
In every area of my life until I left him.
yeah.
And because of the man that like woke me up,
Yeah.
I've had a completely different feeling and openness about that. So behind me
Yeah.
is my cloth thing here.
Yep.
Do you know what's hanging on the wall behind those?
Huh.
Boudoir photos.
Ooh.
So
Hey.
in May of 2015, I went and had boudoir photos done. And that guy and I had broken up. So I was not dating anyone. And I didn't do it for anyone. I did it for me. I did it for me. And so part of it was I wanted to be able to look at those pictures when I'm like freaking 90 and go, damn, I was hot at 50.
Right?
And part of it was just feeling comfortable in my own skin, finally. Yeah.
It's a big deal.
It is a big deal. It's a huge big deal. And I mean, I'm not still open with everyone about that. I mean, that's private stuff, but yeah. I'm not afraid of that part of myself anymore. And it's like, before it would be the kind of thing where like, if I had any thoughts about it in my daily life, I would suppress it and turn it off. Whereas now if I think about it, I kind of enjoy it in the moment, even though I'm still doing whatever I'm doing. It's like I can have both at the same time. I'm not afraid someone's going to find out. What's that one?
6 of Wands, victory, success, and rising up. From the dark and tangled branches emerges a butterfly. New life takes flight. If you're not reveling in the joy of success already, you will be soon. The 6 of Wands is a card of victory, of rising up against the odds. The obstacles have been relentless, but now is not the time to look back upon them. The more pressing question is, where will you go with your new set of wings? So you've been through a lot in this department, but you have wings there now. And what a beautiful thing. What a beautiful place for you to be in as your daughter is coming into womanhood.
Right. Yeah.
What a beautiful thing to have had both sides of it. Because this is something that I don't know how you grew up, but most of us were not really openly communicated with about our bodies
No.
or pleasure or respecting ourselves.
Right. Right.
Most of us like had these natural human urges that just happen, by the way, thank you, hormones.
Yeah.
And then we were made really wrong for having them.
Yes. That's exactly how I grew up. My mom was
Yeah.
like, when you're ready, you come to me and we'll put you on the pill and everything will be fine. I went to her when I was 16 years old and she's like, I didn't think it was going to be so early, and she totally shamed me. And I never went to her again. And I never had a good, like, I never had a good feeling or a good, aspect in my mind about sex. I thought it was shameful. I shouldn't do it. And I felt like that for like ever
Yeah.
until like 3-4 years ago.
Yeah. So this is something to be so aware of, because that's literally how we were brought up. My
And
mom
I'm
said
telling
the same thing.
you,
Yeah, my mom said the same thing, and then my stepmom was the one that took me to the doctor. And when my mom found out, she did the same, like, over the top freak out.
huh?
And it's like, is that effective? Because what I have found is that once you go there, there's not turning that switch back off.
No. Yeah.
So we might as well equip our kids like, hey, this is your body.
Mm-hmm.
Respect it. Take care of it. Be aware with it.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to gift it to someone, gift it to someone that actually cares about you. Gift it to someone that is going to see the magic in you and not try to ruin that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I wish
Yep.
someone would have had that conversation with me back then.
Right. Right. Yeah. And I've been talking to both my children. Just yesterday, Elise, she was talking about having her period and saying vagina. The vaccine's like, stop saying that word. And I'm like, there's nothing wrong with that word. And there's nothing wrong with the word that describes your body part either. It's just a body part.
Yep.
I'm like, yeah, it's like, it's fine. All of this is fine. You guys need to know that there's nothing to be ashamed of with your bodies at all. Like, yeah. So we talk about it. I mean, part of it is the fact that I'm a nurse. So
but like, it's just a body part.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm pretty direct about some stuff with the kids. Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah. They need me to be.
So I'm going to show you this week's sheet.
Okay.
Share. Let me find it. I kind of have a lot of screens. Oh, look, it popped right up. Can you see this?
Not yet. Oh, there it is.
Okay. This week is all about replanting. Oh, by the way, the past life regression thing, we'll just keep tapping into it and we'll see when you're ready, because I found that even now, sometimes it won't let me. It like blocks me. It won't let me go there. It'll make me fall asleep.
Uh-huh.
So that's not a problem at all.
Okay. Yeah, this morning when I tried it, it was so funny because I don't even know how long I was asleep for, but I woke up, I think, because I heard the voice of the next video. And I was like, wait, what's going on? That's something doesn't sound right.
You time warped.
Oh, it was weird. Really weird.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I was trying. A vision, just like, how he says, like, think of a time when you were younger or whatever.
Yeah.
I was able to do that part. So like, I imagined myself in my house with where we used to live when I was like in 8th grade or something. And then I realized, and it's like, I had a thought that it was interesting that I was remembering that time of my life, because that was just I was just a little bit older than my daughter at that time. So I was actually remembering a time that was kind of similar to like her age.
Yeah.
I don't know if it had anything to do with that or whatever, but yeah, so I was thinking about something, but then I fell asleep.
No worries. He gets you so relaxed.
Uh-huh. His voice is so soothing.
Yeah. I wonder too, I never hear the music that starts. I never hear it at the end. I don't know if it plays all the way through.
Oh, I don't know either. I've fallen asleep.
My brain checks out. Anyway, I so love that you set a boundary with your kids this week because this week is all about replanting.
Okay.
So, in order to repot a plant, in order to transplant something, you've got to prepare the soil first off.
Mhm.
Got to get it ready. That's what this week is all for.
Okay.
So getting your mind and your space both
Oh my
to
gosh, self-care.
a fertile place. This is me without self-care. Can you see that bird? You froze. Come back. Okay, maybe this will unfreeze. I don't know. Can you hear me? Did I break it? Weird.
Yeah, we froze.
Okay. Well, apparently I'm breaking the interwebs today.
Maybe it's from that sheet.
It might be.
Yeah, I don't know.
So yeah, you'll get this email. Minimize. Okay. This is me without self-care.
I love it.
So this is something we're going to take a look at too. Was self-care something that was normal in your household growing up?
Yeah.
Was
No.
that something? Yeah.
No, absolutely not. It was no. I didn't have a good childhood. It was abuse, and yeah. My dad was a drug addict.
Tell me about that.
He was a heroin addict,
Okay.
and he sold heroin. And when I was in the 4th grade, he got caught.
Okay.
And I remember the rush to get everything out of the house and get us girls in the car and get us out of the house before the cops got there to search the house.
Okay.
And my dad went to prison, and we went to go visit him every weekend at the prison.
Okay.
And the time when he was there before he was in prison and the time he was there afterwards, he hit me, and he tried to hit my sister, but my mom would protect her because she was littler than me. And he hit my mom, and he cheated on my mom. Yeah. There was definitely no room in all of that to teach anybody about self-care.
There wasn't any.
No. So yeah.
So what have you seen has been the impact of all of that?
All of that stuff I just told you.
Yeah.
So first of all, I want to say that I was listening to something today.
Yeah.
Probably something you sent me about how we repeat our story or something, and we make it that we make our story about us, and like it, and we don't let it go, and then we're not able to move on. Well, I let go of the story a long time ago. And for quite a few years now, I mean, I don't know, 10, 15 years probably at least, when I would tell people about I was a different person then compared to now, which is exactly what they were saying in the thing I was listening to today.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that was the Deepak meditation or one of the things you sent to me. Anyway, so I realized, oh my gosh, that's why I feel like it happened to someone else, because I'm not that person anymore. I'm not still attached to that story. And even now when I tell you, like, number one, I'm not embarrassed anymore because it's not me. It's not connected to me anymore. And then I realized sometimes like, oh, wait a second. Some people out there are still going to judge me because my dad was a drug addict who sold heroin and went to fucking jail for 5 years. So some people are still going to judge me for that. But I'm like, I don't care. I don't care because
It
it's
had
not
nothing his heroin addiction, his selling, none of that, the abuse, none of it had anything to do with you.
it wasn't me. It was him.
Heroin addicts are fucked in the head.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yes.
Like that's just it.
Yeah. Yeah. There was, so I know that, like, I know it's not my story. The
Yeah.
part of the story that's for me is just that he hurt me
Mm-hmm.
and then he wasn't there for me.
Yeah.
And then I was promiscuous because I never had a good father figure, because I know that the science shows that usually if a girl doesn't have, if you don't have a good father figure. And
Yeah.
so I pushed for that father relationship with my daughter, which she now has. And now I cross my fingers that she doesn't do what I did. Yes. So it's not me. I know it's not me, and I'm not really attached to it anymore. I think the part of it, only part I'm really attached to is just my dad.
Yeah.
Like my daughter even says to me, how could you forgive him? How could you even, and I'm like, I don't know how to explain it. I just do. And I even remember a time when I was a young adult in my 20s when I went to go visit my dad. We got in a fight once I got there. He lived in Florida at the time. And it wasn't really a fight. It was a disagreement. I was not agreeing to whatever his idea was.
Yeah.
And he lunged at me. And he got this look in his eyes. And I was like, oh no, don't you dare. I will leave here and you will never see me again. But I remember that was the last time.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I can still see it. But then, and I never forgave him until he got diagnosed with cancer. Are you there?
Yeah. I'm here.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I just can't see you.
Ah.
I lost my screen. Hold on. So yeah, when he got diagnosed with cancer in May of 2010,
Yeah.
My aunt called me, his sister, to tell me that he was dying of cancer. And I reached out then. And we reconciled for the last 6 months of his life because I wasn't going to let my dad die and not forgive him. Are you still there?
I'm still here.
Okay. Sorry, I got all these things that are popping up on my screen, but you're not there, so I'm trying to find you.
You sound like my life with computers.
Well, where'd you go? Okay, what happens if? Oh, there you are. Okay.
Hello again.
Now I can see you again. So we kind of reconciled, and so I think the part that go ahead. What?
Forgiveness
Were
isn't.
You gonna say something?
Yeah, forgiveness isn't even. This is what people don't understand. It's not even for the other person.
Mm-hmm.
It's to let you off the hook, so you don't have to keep drinking that poison.
Right. And I feel like I did that.
Yeah.
And I feel like now the relationship I have with my dad is that he says hello all the time. So his birthday was 6/16, and I see those numbers all the time.
Yeah.
So even though he was a horrible father here on earth, I still think he's looking over me.
Yeah. It's interesting, huh?
Yeah, it is. So that's really all I have about it anymore. I don't feel like I have any of the bad stuff. No, here's the other part of all that. Forever, I would not date men who had dark hair and dark skin because that's what my dad has. But the truth is I was attracted to men who were dark.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like tan skin, dark hair, just like James.
Mm-hmm.
So when I met James, it was like, oh my God, he looks so much like my dad. He went out to dinner with my sister and her husband while they were here in August. And my sister afterwards, she's like, and you know what else? And I'm like, what? And she's like, he looks just like dad. And I'm like, well, I see the resemblance, but I don't but it's not bothering me because I see him for him. I don't see him for my dad. And
Yeah.
that was kind of another indicator to me that I'm not still like
Tied
hung
up
up
in
on all the bad stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I'm like, it's not something that's bothering me anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So needless to say, self-care wasn't something that they were like taking really good care of themselves and taking really good care of you.
Yeah. They weren't doing either of that.
Yeah. So this is always an interesting conversation to have with people because a lot of times I think what was modeled was like this self-sacrificing to the point of not having anything left to give anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And then being upset that you have nothing left to give.
Yeah.
And just being like this is why so many people in our culture are burnout, they're unhealthy, they're diseased, they're exhausted, they're not healing, it's because they're not making self-care a priority.
Right.
So, yeah, this is me without self-care. This is me with self-care. With self-care, I have like a perfectly manicured mane, and there's even this pretty girl in a dress standing by me supporting me.
That's awesome. I love it. Perfect.
So self-care menu definitely comes into play this week. How do I go to the next page? There's another page. I don't know. Go back. Is it going to make me stop share?
Maybe.
This new program is so cool. I wish I would have had this when I was teaching. Okay. And I'm going to email this to you.
Okay.
So this is all stuff that you've kind of done this in your house since I've been there, but definitely go back through your house again and check this out, okay? Till the soil. You're going to create some space in your home. It's essentially the act of pick it up. Does it bring me joy?
You're killing me.
Yeah. Why?
Because I have so much stuff.
Okay.
And it's the thing that hangs over me, and I keep thinking I have to get rid of this stuff. I have got to go through my stuff. I can't have all this stuff. It's weighing me down.
Yeah. So this is how you do it. You pick up the item. Here's a nice flow chart to help you. Is it someone else's? Then give it back to them.
Here you go.
If it is mine, does it bring me joy? Yes. Okay, keep it. No, get rid of it. So I recommend start with your house. Clean out the closets, clean out the drawers, get rid of furniture you don't like, remove the clothing that doesn't light your body up. And then you're going to go back through with your schedule, with your obligations and responsibilities, those things you like have to do, your friends, your work duties. This is like a big overhaul. So repurpose or trash what doesn't work for you. That thing that you hate doing at work might be someone else's zone of genius. So where can you be like, hey, this isn't my zone, but I see it's yours. Okay. I had to add for some people, like that shirt that doesn't fit might light somebody else's body up.
Yeah.
Don't hang on to it. For some people out there, this isn't the case for you, but for some people out there that are bitching about their boyfriend, well, maybe he's someone else's love.
Yeah. Let him go.
Let him go. Helpful tidbit. If your head starts justifying why you should keep it, that's a sign that you should definitely get rid of it.
Really?
Yeah. Okay.
Why?
So let's say like I pick up this sage, and this sage, it's like, it's half burned. It's really not bringing me any joy. It's not serving a purpose. This is just hypothetical.
Yes.
But then my head is like, but my grandma gave it to me. I've got to keep it because there's sentimental value because my grandma gave it to me. blah, 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 but it doesn't bring you joy,
Mm-hmm.
bye.
Okay.
It's never going to bring you joy.
I have a few things like that. Not a lot, but
Yeah.
most of my crap is like sewing and craft stuff. I have to get rid of.
So that's something like, is this something I've even done in the last year?
Right. I haven't. That's the whole point, is I don't do it anymore. I know I need to get rid of it.
Is if it's something that's like you could repurpose it and it's going to bring you joy, if it's something you could add to your life, to your plate as a self-care thing that's going to light you up, cool.
Yeah.
If it's just taking up space in your house, then somebody else out there really likes crafts.
Yes, they do.
Let me know what craft stuff it is.
Do you like crafts?
I like crafts.
Okay, so then I'll ask you first. And then I have tons of fabric. Do you sew?
I have a sewing machine. That's something I haven't gotten rid of because I used to sew all the time. Mm-hmm. And I haven't gotten back into it ever.
Yeah.
And so I do still have a sewing machine. I don't know if I'll ever use it.
Yeah.
That's one of my things I haven't justified getting rid of.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so seriously though, whoops, I didn't mean to do that.
Don't do that.
Undo. I know, I'm in like the edit screen.
Whoops.
Oh well, I'll just fix it. There we go. This is so cool. It makes it so easy to do fancy things.
Cool.
All right. Create your sanctuary.
That's what I did behind me.
Yeah.
I created a little sanctuary.
Yeah.
I moved it up to my room instead of downstairs at the TV, but now I don't like how the TV area feels. I'm going to have to redo it again.
Yeah. And this is the thing. I like to have not just one space in my house. My space in my house is my yoga room downstairs. Uh-huh. That place feels the most peaceful. But like we're getting ready. I'm going to redo the office, repaint it in here. So it feels more like a sanctuary for me too. Right. And then I have things in every single room that when I walk into the room, I'm like, I love that. Yeah. That light me up a little bit. Uh-huh. For me, it's that, I don't know if you can see that. Can you see the color of the butterfly? Like that color.
Yeah.
I have that color all over my house because that one lights me up. Gosh, even down to we've gotten rid of coffee mugs that we don't like, that don't bring us joy. And really just creating a space. There's this whole world out there that's not designed for you specifically. So create a space that really feels like yours.
How long is this supposed to take?
Huh?
How long is this supposed to take, the cleaning out and creating sanctuary?
Oh, this is a process. All of these things that we go through, it's not linear.
Okay, so all the stuff that we've been doing week by week is really just kind of layers, not like, okay, you're done with that, move on.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was talking to Patrick about this the other day. I was like, I think I need to talk about that at the beginning of the program. Uh-huh. We go linear just because if I were to try to word vomit on you all at once, you'd be like, whoa. However, these are all the tools and things that I've used to constantly be reworking my life, constantly be moving towards a life that lights me up. Because you're launching these rockets of desire of what you would like to have, and then there's a gap between now and having it, but eventually you'll have it, and at that point you've launched a rocket for something else.
Okay.
So this work is never done. It's like it's never finished. Once you start, it's a journey of a lifetime.
Yes. And
you're going to find like in a year from now, your sanctuary, you're going to need the space to change. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, not linear, kind of layered, kind of mashed together. All right. So this is just a safe space for you to relax. I have some spaces too that are not within my home that I have personally labeled, this is my sanctuary. So there's a place on a trail behind my stepdad's mountain house. that is very much public terrain and also very much my sanctuary. It's this cool little spot next to a stream and a bridge, and you can hear the water floating by. And I've loved it since 8th grade.
Nice.
So this isn't just necessarily a spot in your home, but start to explore. Find some spaces around town where you're like, wow, I feel really calm here. That'll come in really handy when you're needing to tap back into who you really are. If you can have some spaces that you know you can go to and you can go to easily that help you feel calm and peaceful, it changes everything. So you can find a space inside or outside your home that you can make your own. Like, I like this picture of this chick doing yoga in the city because it just reminds me, like, I can find space pretty much anywhere. And then you can always have a portable sanctuary too. That's why I gift the boxes, because you can take that with you. I also have, where is it? I have this bag that I carry with me places that I will throw my notebook in and some crystals in, and I'll take it with me. That way, if I find a sanctuary out in nature, I can take some time and I can journal or I can, whatever I need to do.
Yeah.
So do that. And then also start to add things that help you feel calm, connected, and creative. When you're in that calm, connected, creative space, that's where you're most powerful. And then, I don't know. This is a cool picture. I like this. All right. And then I don't know why. I'm going to have to find you a pot, but this is the next activity we're doing. Maybe Michael's has a pot.
I'm sure they do.
Yeah.
Or I'm sure there's a pot somewhere. Yeah.
We looked at Walmart. No pots at Walmart in November.
No. Yeah,
okay.
They probably have some at like Hobby Lobby or Michael's.
Yeah. So I'll find a pot and I'll get it to you over the next few days. But what we're going to do is we're going to plant some seeds. And hopefully this works this time of year. You don't have grow lights. You'll have to find a sunny spot.
Okay.
Every single thought and every energy is a seed. And every seed that you plant is something that will begin to grow. And I love this because it's like, if you plant corn, you're going to get corn. If you plant pumpkin seeds, you will grow pumpkins. But a lot of times people are planting seeds and they're planting seeds for things that they don't want. Mm-hmm. Meaning like they're looking for bananas, but they planted potatoes.
Right. And I think about that sometimes because I know like the negative thoughts keep popping up. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, no, go away. Like I try to turn it around because every time a negative thought comes into my head, I'm like, shoot, now I think of it like, now that's another seed of negativity I just planted, and I'm just like holding myself back.
So this is one of the things, if you listen to Abraham Hicks, she talks about this because this is one of the first things she introduces, like what you think you create. However, it's thankfully we live in a dimension where there's a time delay. So if you've ever seen The Secret, he's like, thank God there's a time delay, because the guy thinks it would be cool to have a pet elephant, and then immediately there's an elephant taking a poop in his living room. Right?
Yeah, so like, no, that's not what I meant.
Thank God there's a time delay. And oh my God, sometimes there's a time delay. Yes, try to not spiral too deep into the negative thinking. Take a look at, is this mine? Is it even true? Is this light or heavy? Can I move my body and get this feeling out of me? And sometimes you have an off day. Sometimes you're emotional. And what I've found is that getting upset with the mean girl for being mean actually makes her just fight with me more. So this like, oh my God, there's a negative thought. I better catch it and like vacuum it back up. Or I can't think about that. Then I'm thinking about what I can't think about, which means I'm thinking about it.
Yes. Yes.
Um, so yes, that's true. And what I found to be more effective than like, oh my God, I can't think about that. You can do one of two things. Number one, first, try to get yourself off the topic. Go
That's
do
what I
something else. Go think about something else entirely. Do something totally off the topic.
Yeah.
If that does not work, go ahead and let it spin as fast as you can downward.
Why?
Because if you can just run with it and let yourself feel this emotion that's there bubbling, if you can feel it, but like really freaking let yourself feel it all full tilt,
Yeah.
you get it out of you, you get it moving.
Okay.
So one of the best things that you can do, hey love, caca. That's how you page Patrick. Caca.
Caca, caca.
So one of the things,
movie Robots, right?
yeah. Well, that started back when he had his friend Little Buddy at the bar, and Little Buddy would get in fights. And in order to call Patrick, he would caca, and Patrick would come flying in to rescue.
Oh, how funny.
So, he often can't hear me he doesn't want to interrupt if I'm talking, but if he hears caca, he usually comes. We'll see. Yeah. Okay, so one of the things that you can do to really get this energy out of you when you're feeling that way is a scream towel technique.
Oh.
Okay, so take a hand towel, the like medium towel, fold it in half, and you're actually gonna hold it over your throat just gently so you're aware of your vocal cords, and then you're gonna hold it here.
Okay.
And it feels weird at first. I'll do it with my shirt. Okay?
Okay.
So it's not super loud. You're not going to scare the kids or the neighbors, but it's this really deep, like from your belly, from the bottom of your diaphragm, forceful pushing of energy outward. And if you do that, you will get the energy moving in your body.
Okay.
And you know what? Like, it's okay to yell. It's okay to cry. I have a heavy bag in my basement because, let's get real, it can be about yoga, but sometimes I need to hit some shit. It's balance.
I love it.
Okay?
Yes.
Part of this like law of attraction community has made us so wrong for not being freaking positive all the time. Well, we're not positive all the time. I cried my eyeballs out today. That's fine. Okay, that's fine.
Why did you cry your eyeballs out today?
I was feeling sad and insecure and didn't know how to communicate it. I was feeling 3. And you know what? Like, this morning I fought feeling it. This morning I did not want to feel it. I did not want to feel 3. And so I fought it, and it just kind of festered and it got worse. And then I started crying. And then I finally like stomped my feet and let myself feel 3. And then I took a bath and I'm fine.
There you go.
We're human.
Yes, we are.
But we're human. Like you were meant to feel all of it. There's shit that happens during your day that is really frustrating, or it's angering, or it makes you feel lonely. And it's our not wanting to feel that emotion that causes us to numb out in the first place. With Jimmy, it's Jimmy's fear of not wanting to feel that emotion that causes him to blow up his life.
Not wanting to feel the emotion of everything?
Yeah. He's as sensitive as you and I are.
Yeah, I can tell.
Yeah, he's as sensitive as you and I are. And honestly, I think the happy feelings scare him just as much as the other end of the spectrum. And, we take away the numbing agent, and when you're no longer numbing out, it is all there.
Yep.
Everything, like all the stuff that you were numbing out, the joy, the bliss, the laughter, but also the anxiety, the fear, the depression. So that's just part of a human experience. And honestly, the faster, I just love myself that I'm freaking upset, and I love that about me. I laid in bed and I was so uncomfortable, but I was like, okay, I feel really stubborn and upset in 3 right now. And I love that about me. I feel flat out pissed off and unheard, and I love that about me. Mm-hmm. And, it took me about 20 minutes of doing that, of listing things off that I was feeling and letting myself love that about me. And then the peace came in and I fell asleep and I took a nap. Nice. And the fear-mongering part of the spiritual world wants to tell you that if that happens, that you've suddenly derailed yourself and you're totally off the path and you're fucked.
But that can't possibly be true, or I wouldn't be here now.
Right.
Right.
Right. That couldn't possibly be true. Yeah. What I actually have found to be true is that once I'm willing to feel that emotion and I have that energy burst out of me and it breaks up, then the thing that I've been seeking actually shows up really quickly. Yeah. So, we're going to do an activity this week. I'm going to find you a pot, but it's time to get creative. So you're going to get a pot. And the whole premise of this is that we've shaken off all of this stuff you were carrying around, and you're now this empty vessel, and you can create whatever you want to create. You're a container, you're a conduit. You can plant, nourish, and grow whatever you desire. And so you're going to decorate the outside of the container. You're going to decide what you would like to have. I'm hoping I can find the paper because it's on back order and won't be here for a few more weeks. But there's this cool seed paper. It's paper that has seeds in it.
I have had some of that before. Yes.
Yeah.
That's cool. Uh-huh.
So regardless, you're going to write your intentions, and then we're going to plant some seeds, and we're going to watch them grow.
Okay.
And I love this as a physical representation of you blooming, but also of the seeds that you're planting blooming. So, in doing this activity, I recommend it is most effective if you let go of the specifics and focus on the energy of what you would like to have.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to stop share on this. So what do I mean by that? I wouldn't write Jimmy's name on a piece of paper. I would write the energy of the kind of connection that you feel with him. The connection that you're desiring. I
don't know how to describe that.
Home. Home. Also, you could get really specific about a new vehicle, for instance, that you would want to drive. But it doesn't really matter what logo is on the outside if you get into it and the way that your hands wrap around the steering wheel and the feeling of exhilaration as you crank up the stereo and you hit the gas pedal is in alignment, is congruent with what you're seeking. So I could have been really, really specific. One of the things we manifested, this was a year ago, but both of our vehicles, our Fusion, I wanted one for a while. I actually wanted a Lexus and I wanted a Beamer, and I like my Fusion more than the Beamer. And it was a third of the cost. How does it get better than that? When you leave it more open-ended, you leave some space for the universe to fill in the details in ways that will surprise and delight you. Because let me tell you, I really wanted a Beamer because I wanted the luxury feel and I wanted the turbo and I wanted all the bells and whistles. But it would have cost me $47,000. And instead, we got our Fusion gently used for 17.
Nice.
Right? And I feel the same feeling when I drive it.
Yeah.
So it made no difference what label it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm all for like finding good deals and finding things that are a perfect fit. But yeah, whatever your intention is, whatever relationship it is that you're seeking, what you'd like to have with your kids, etc., take a look at that. And what seeds do you want to plant? What do you want to plant for your future? Okay.
Yep.
And yeah, you described the feeling of James as home. It doesn't feel like anything you've ever had before. That's because up until now, you haven't really known what home feels like. You had a family that didn't know. Huh?
I get nervous every time I go see him.
You get nervous or you get really excited?
I think it's probably excitement.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't wait to see him. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Keep that alive. One of the best things that we've done in our relationship recently is make the conscious decision right before we see each other to pretend like we haven't seen each other in a month. Which has gotten really interesting because I work from home and he's home now.
Yeah.
So it's not always easy to pull off. And sometimes I forget, so I'm glad I'm reminding myself. But if every time you see someone, you act like you haven't seen them in a month, what's your reaction going to be? Oh my God, I'm so happy to see you.
Yes.
I'm so happy to see you, right?
Yeah.
Versus, what do most people fall into a little ways down the relationship? Oh, it's you again?
Yeah, like no big deal. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know I've thought about that. Like, I don't want to lose that. And at the same time, I'm like, okay, this is kind of how it is right now because there's several days in between each time we get to see each other. And, but I'm like, I want it to be where I get to see him like every day. And, but I don't want to lose this feeling of that we have that builds up in between. And so I'm glad that you're saying that. That's cool. Yeah.
Choose to keep it. You know, this is where you balance really good self-care. So you feel nice and filled up, but then you can also choose to keep that. There's my aunt and uncle have been together since 8th grade.
Oh my
and
God.
they're 66.
Wow. That's cool.
And he is still excited to see her.
Really? That's so sweet.
She's the most beautiful woman that he knows.
And have you ever asked them how they kept that?
Yeah, I asked him, I've actually asked him quite a bit, and he said, honestly, communication. Be willing to communicate about everything, even when it's really uncomfortable and you don't want to. He was like, especially then. Especially when you don't want to. That's when you really need to talk about it. And number 2, choose each other. So every day he wakes up and regardless, he chooses her again. And it's a difference between like being committed, like you've been committed, you've been locked up, right? And choosing somebody, those are 2 totally different energies. But if every single time you're like, oh my God, I am so excited to see you.
Yeah. Oh, so this is totally in line with the movie that we watched on Tuesday. We watched 50 First Dates.
Yeah. So if you show up like that, like look at how he showed up. He showed up as the ultimate provider in that movie. Like he wanted to create an experience for her every single day.
Yeah.
This is where it's really silly to me that so many women think that they need to like manipulate or control their men.
Mhm.
No, you actually need to go make yourself happy
Mhm.
and then bring your happy self into the relationship.
Yeah.
And by doing that, like you create possibility to have the relationship of your dreams. But it doesn't come like your man can't make you happy. I've tried it. God damn.
Doesn't work. It doesn't work.
It
But
doesn't work.
I can feel how it works the way that you're saying.
Yeah.
I can feel that. Yeah.
Yeah. I just have this habit every single time I see a happy couple that's been together for a while. Keyword happy. I ask, what is the secret? And one of my favorites that choose each other every day, like choose to be friends every day is a big deal. But one of my favorites, Dorothy just sat there and she reached her hand across the table and she grabbed Harold by the hand and she said, he's just wonderful. And they've been together 65 years. They're in their 80s.
Wow. Yep.
Which like I can't even wrap my head around. I won't even live that long. To be
Yes,
with
you
Dr. Cal.
will.
I would be like 90 something. I don't know, maybe I will. We'll see.
I'm going to be 90 something.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's what a different thing. What a different thing than what most women say about their relationships.
Right. Oh yeah.
Most women are rude. You choosing to show up and to just like love the lovable parts of him. They're not all lovable, I promise. He's human.
Right. So am I.
Yeah. Yeah, not every
I'm not
bit of
all
work
lovable.
is lovable. Mm-mm.
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah.
But really, really love on and speak life into the lovable parts.
Mhm.
That's a game changer.
Yeah.
God, Dorothy reached across the table and Harold like sat up a little taller and got all proud and had
That's
this
cute.
big smile on his face. And he was like, I'm just lucky that she's kept me around so long.
That's awesome.
That's a different kind of relationship.
Mhm. Mhm.
So,
That's what I want. And that's what I've seen, like with my patients when I've gone into their homes and home care. The ones that were happy, I was like, oh my gosh, I want that. I want to grow old with somebody like that. Like, and because then I would go into other people's homes and they were like bickering or fighting or criticizing or cutting each other down. And I was like, oh my God, get me out of here. I don't want this. Yeah.
mhm.
So I've been able to see it a few times. And even when my ex and I split up, it was like, now I need to find that person that I'm going to grow old with because that's what I want. I want that happiness. I want that love. Yeah.
And for Jimmy, he's experienced a lot of things on the other side of the spectrum.
What do you
He,
mean?
he's dated some freaking crazy people.
That's what he was saying. He told me that, well, so, Dylan, we ran into Dylan that first night I saw him a couple weeks ago. And I guess Dylan asked him last night who I was. And he told him that we were seeing each other. And he's like, oh, well, she seems, what was it? Nice and normal. James was like, it's a compliment. I'm like, I'm taking it as a compliment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
He dated, I can't even call her a friend. She used to be a friend. He dated my friend Heather for a while.
He told
And
me.
Heather's a shit show.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
That's what he said. Yeah, but it seems like, I mean, like, and then he got in that relationship with Ashley where it was like they met and suddenly she was living with him.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it just seems like he kind of goes from 0 to 150 really fast. So, and I think that's why he's saying just go slow because he's afraid it's going to blow up if we don't go slow. So,
Neither one of you know how to go slow, honey.
what?
Neither one of you know how to go slow.
I know that's the problem. Like I'm like, so like today, so last night he said something about I have to look it up so I don't mess it up. Um oh, um about the nice and normal thing.
Yeah.
And he was saying that he thought that nice and normal would be a good thing for his dad, and I was like, well, what do you think? He's like, yeah, I think so. Um but then he's like, but what about you? And I said, well, I like nice. I said, normal subjective. I said, I've always liked people who are a little bit unconventional. He's like, well, here I am.
Yeah.
Like, yes, you are. And then
Yeah.
he said, I will validate your parking if you want. And I was like, what are you talking about? And it turns out what he meant was he said, I'm just saying if I'm not the one, no hard feelings.
He needs to work with me.
I know.
Not
And
making him
so,
tapped into his self-worth because you're
right.
wonderful and he's wonderful.
He is wonderful. So I slept on that. Like I was like, first of all, I said, quit it. I'm crazy about you. How many times do I have to tell you I'm yours before you believe me?
Right?
And then he's like, well, just wanted you to know. I'm like, well, then I guess I could say the same to you. And then we said goodnight. And then this morning I basically like brought it all up again and, said things like, were you backpedaling? Are you thinking maybe I'm not the one? Are you thinking you're not the one for me? Um, is there such a thing as the one? It's like, this is a huge thing. I'm like,
Yeah.
and then I said, about the no hard feelings part. I'm like, yes, there would be hard feelings, maybe not anger or resentment, but for either one of us to walk away at this point, it's going to be really difficult. I said, you already left once and I was trying and I was having a really hard time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but I basically told him, I'm like, it's we need to just communicate, we need to stay connected. And then I what was this? I said,
You need to hire Brooke
oh,
so she can
I
show you
know.
how to fall in love with yourself because you're really wonderful, damn it.
I know. He just so he told me that he wasn't backpedaling, that when he talked to his son, and because his children mean so much to him, it made him feel closer to me because of what his son said.
Yeah.
Because for the last 6 years, all of his kids have been saying is, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's crazy.
Um, so then he was saying it was more like of a protective thing because I don't know if I told you or not, but back before what happened was we were like dating for a couple weeks and then he made plans with me to go out on a Saturday and then he suddenly I could feel it. I could feel the energy pulled away on Friday. And I was
Mm.
like, where are you? What's going on? Saturday came. I'm like, are we still going out tonight? And then he canceled on me. And then I got on Tinder. And then his son saw me on Tinder. And he, I guess, had shown my picture to his son. And he's like, hey, Dad, I think that girl you just showed me a picture of is on Tinder. And so he got on Tinder and he made a fake profile with someone else's picture. And guess who I swiped on? And he and I were talking as someone else. And he's like being really pushy about meeting me. And I was like, and at the end, I ended up saying, no, I'm not meeting you. But so he brought up that again. He's like, for a moment, I had a flashback about that thing with Tinder. So it was like a way of protecting himself. And that's like what he used when he broke up with me. He's like, look, that thing with Tinder just keeps playing through my mind, how you were texting me and you were texting him at the same time. Yes. I'm like, but I never met with him. I said, I thought you were breaking
It
up
was
with me.
you
I like
anyway.
cried
I
all
picked
fucking
you
day. And
twice.
I picked you twice. Oh my God. Can you believe it? And it wasn't, yeah.
That's it. Like I picked you twice.
Yeah. I didn't even know it was you.
I'm responding to the energy of it and I like the energy of it and I picked you twice.
You fucking twice. That's a good way to put it. I never even thought about that before. That's so funny. But yeah, so I told him, I said, look, my profile's still on Tinder. You haven't told me to delete it. And we're going slow. And at the end I said, but maybe we could go slow. I said, can we go slow and deep? And he's like, yes, delete it.
That's how I like it.
So I deleted it today because I wasn't looking at it anyway, but I kind of felt like I was protecting myself. Like, okay, well, I don't, he's saying slow. I'm afraid he's going to disappear again. And I got to just like keep this up just in case, like, and yeah. And it's not even like I would like jump right back into dating again. It'd be like, I'd just be swiping just to go, yeah, see, there's not shit in Denver.
The swiping adventure. Yeah.
I hate it. I hate it. I hate it.
The dating world.
It's awful. It's awful.
I'm so glad Gavin picked out Patrick for me.
How did he pick him out?
Well, we were coworkers and we were good friends. Patrick's roommate was our boss. Patrick rented the basement in his house. So we were always over there hanging out, and they were having a Nerf battle one afternoon. And I had just told Gavin, my picker is broken. You gotta pick me the next guy I'm with. I want someone like you. And he picked out Patrick.
He literally said, Patrick?
He said, Mom, this is the one.
Oh my God, how cute. That's awesome.
So, my little oracle child.
Seriously. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm keeping you from dinner, aren't I?
Oh, I'm just eating with you on the call because that's how I roll.
Okay, good. Good. I'm glad.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Yeah, I am.
I have to eat or I get kind of really cranky. And so I stopped caring if other people care if I eat.
That's good.
Because it's better than dealing with cranky Brooke.
Right. That's right. Absolutely. It's like, if you have to eat, you have to eat.
My mom's like, why did you bring a Tupperware with food? And I'm like, because number one, I wasn't sure if there would be food here and I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Number two, like, that's just good self-care. You're welcome.
Did you say that to her?
Yeah.
You're welcome. Yeah. I love it.
The self-care thing's really interesting because that's like, my mom does self-care kind of to the extreme. Okay. Nails every week, hair every 3 weeks, massage every week, chiropractor,
oh my gosh.
Manicure, pedicure, like you name it.
Yeah.
She probably has like a $3,500 a month self-care thing that she does. Crazy. She makes $400 grand. It's relative.
Oh my God. It is. It's all relative.
It's all relative. And for me, it's like, really? But I remember being in 7th grade. So totally I wasn't interested in boys. It was strictly for me, like your boudoir pictures, strictly for me. With money that I had earned babysitting, I was at Kohl's and I bought myself a really pretty black bra that had like flowers embroidered on it. And no one was going to see it, but it made me feel beautiful.
Right.
And I spent $25 on it. And she made such a big deal about me spending money on this bra for myself.
Wow.
Like so much shame. Mm-hmm. And I look at it now, it's like, that's such an interesting thing that you could have like both a parent that does like everything self-care related under the sun.
Right. Yeah.
And then also be told that you're wrong for buying a bra that makes you feel beautiful. So let's find a happy medium. Self-care isn't necessarily like massages every day, as much as we would both love that. That'd be great. Sometimes it's like, did I feed myself a great lunch?
Uh-huh.
Do I need some ice cream?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's what I did for my daughter after she called me that night. I called her on the way home and I said, actually I texted her, I said, what do you need from me? Is there anything? She's like, ice cream? So I went and picked her up ice cream and she was like in shock that I did this for her. And I also picked her up 3 different packages of 3 different absorbencies of pads.
Supplies. Yep.
I was like, this one's for light days. This one's for nighttime. This one's for during the day. Yep. Yep.
Thank you for being a really good mom. Thank you. Yeah. You're lovely.
Was she was happy. It was really cute.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
started my period Christmas Eve in 7th grade.
Oh no. Oh,
And all my friends had lied about it.
what do you mean?
They had all said, yeah, we've already started our period, blah, 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 blah. It turns out I was the second of the group to start.
Oh,
And I had like prayed for it because I felt like I was so left out. And then it came and I
oh
was
my.
like, I prayed for this.
What was I thinking? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Oh
Man.
no. My mom made me tell my dad. It was the most embarrassing thing ever. I was 14. My daughter's 14, and I told her, it's happening this year. You're
Yeah.
14. I'm
Mm-hmm.
telling you it's happening this year.
It happens
And
to
when
some
she's like,
10-year-olds.
what?
I had a 10-year-old in 4th grade start her period. She thought she was
And
dying.
I've heard this. These kids these days are getting it younger. And I've also heard that it can be connected to like the hormones in our food.
Yeah.
And so I made sure not to feed my
Yeah.
children any food with hormones because
Yeah.
I didn't want that to happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So she said she didn't want to tell her dad. And I was like, that's fine. You don't have to. And the funny thing is by the end of the conversation, she said, I'm going to go tell dad now. She came up
Yeah.
with that on her own. Yeah.
Well, and truthfully, he kind of does need to know
He
because she
does.
spends half the time there and she can't drive to go get herself stuff.
Right.
So sometimes
Right.
she's gonna have to be like, "Hey, Dad,
Mm-hmm.
drive me to the
And
store
he'll go,
or run for me."
yeah. Yeah. He would actually go buy it for her.
Good.
I know he
Good.
would. Yeah. Yeah.
Patrick's
Yeah.
like, "Why are some guys so embarrassed about that?" I'm like, "I don't know. 100% of the women on the planet either are, were, or will be experiencing a monthly period. Every one of them. Even the women that are 90 that haven't had that in a long time were at some point.
Yeah.
So,
yes. It's nothing to be embarrassed about. Yeah, when I went into that aisle with my son when we went to Target last Saturday night to grab some panty liners for myself, and he was like, "Mom, I don't want to be in this aisle." and I kind of gave him a hard time about it, and I was like, your dad would walk in this aisle. Your dad would buy this stuff. He doesn't care. It's no big deal. So yeah. So I was trying to decondition him a little bit.
I have a vagina, man. Vaginas need supplies. You have a penis. Eventually that will need supplies.
Yes. Yes.
I sent my brother a picture of, it was like, compare and save. And it was a Trojan display case for condoms in the middle of a diaper display. And it was like Trojan condoms $3.25, pack of diapers $22.
Oh my gosh.
I sent it to my brother and he was like, got it, sis.
That's awesome. How old is your brother?
19.
Okay. Yeah. He needs that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Still too young on that road.
So
that's awesome.
Well, you're lovely. I'm so excited for all of these developments. Let me know how the purging goes. Okay.
So
and
I
just start with what?
Go ahead. Sorry.
Just start with one thing. Just start with one thing at a time. And what I like to do, set a timer for 10 minutes.
Okay.
Just 10 minutes, okay? Just 10 minutes of like, I'm going to real quick for 10 minutes get rid of as much stuff as I can that I don't like. And then
hard for me.
Yeah. You can call the VVA.
Okay.
You can call the VVA and you can literally just have a pile of stuff and they will come pick it up for you.
Okay.
Even like furniture and things.
Write that down. I don't think I have like any furniture or anything because when I moved in here, all I had was just, I didn't even have anything. I had to furnish the place. Yeah. So, but I have a lot of just stuff that needs to go.
Yeah.
And it's funny because when I think, it's like when I usually go to James's house instead of him coming here.
Yeah.
And I love going there because he doesn't have a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's not cluttered. It's just neat. Yes. And
That's
it
because all
feels,
of his stuff went up in flames.
I know, they told me. Isn't that insane? The stuff he has been through, like,
It's seriously crazy. That's why I'm like, dude, you're a good guy. You don't need to go through this shit anymore. You've done it all. This means
yeah.
that like the next 30 years of your life get to be cush.
Yes, you can just have a
Wonderful.
calm, normal life.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
You both are ready for that. All right, my dear. Well, let me know how that goes. Create some sanctuary spaces in your home. Clean out your car,
Thank you.
maybe.
Thank you so
You're,
much for all of your time. I appreciate you because
I
you go
appreciate.
over every time with me, and I love talking to you. Thank you.
I love talking to you too. We'll chat soon. Okay.
Okay. Alrighty.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, I have to figure out the buttons.